to the Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by the Lines and Play Picks, coming to you from Oakland, California. Josh Lander, joined by my counterpart on the East Coast, as always, Nate Weitzer. Another great article on a 6-game slate on a Tuesday night for you guys tonight. No one won our gift card last night, Nate, guessing Zion's total rebounds, points, and assists combined. So we are going to offer another gift card up today. We will announce what that prop's going to be here in a minute, so just stay tuned. Remember to like and subscribe to this page and to this video, and go ahead and drop that total in the comments when we give you that prop. Nate, go ahead and start us off with the lines for the 2nd of February.
Yes, sir. We have the Grizzlies now +5 at the Pacers, opened at 6 points, which makes no sense. Raptors -6 at Magic. We have the Clippers and Nets in basically a toss-up that everyone's going to be watching. Pistons +12 at Jazz, and the Celtics hovering around -3 at the Warriors, which is in some sense the premise of this show. Josh, I'm in Boston. You're in the Bay Area. We both stand for our teams, so I'll assume you're going to try to pick that game.
I am. And going against my West Coast prowess, I'm going to go ahead and take the Celtics -3 on that line. It started at 2.5, hasn't moved much, but it is at 3 on most books right now. And really, it's a matchup thing for me. I think when you look at recent history in this matchup, the Celtics have covered the spread of whatever kind, 6 of the last 7 meetings against the Warriors. They are actually 8-3-1 against the spread in their last 12 overall against the Dubs. And you've got a lot of things to look forward to with no Marcus Smart potentially, and a little bit of addition by subtraction on offense, opening things up for the other 3 big players. Obviously, Tatum and Jaylen Brown continue their strong play. No Wiseman for the Warriors. And a couple quick stats on them. Really, I mean, starting with that lack of center, there's only Kevon Looney playing in the middle for them tonight. Not great against the C's, Theis and Thompson. And then really, the Warriors don't play well against winning teams this year. They're 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 games against teams just with winning records. So I don't really like what they've shown so far and who they've beaten. And I feel comfortable with the C's and a small spread.
Yeah, I was shocked to see the Warriors actually have a winning record, and it turns out 7 of their 11 wins are against losing teams. They've looked downright awful against some good teams recently. I could definitely see the Celtics, without Marcus Smart, still finding a way to contain Steph with their length. And rather than taking the money line, I'm just looking at Tatum over 25 points and the win on FanDuel. That's a +230 bonus. I don't see any way the Celtics win this game without getting that kind of output from Tatum, who seemed to find it, after that COVID layoff down the stretch against the Lakers. He really looked like he was resuming his superstar form. I think he goes off a bit tonight. And then something I alluded to in the lines, right? Memphis is opened at +6 at Indy. These teams are going in the complete opposite direction. Memphis is, aside from all their suspended games, pretty much the hottest team in the NBA when you look at things like net rating. Since Ja returned 3 games ago, they have the best net rating in the NBA. They're averaging 123 points per game, shooting 54% from the field. They've won 7 straight, aside from all those breaks, and they haven't really struggled on no rest, being a young team. I believe they're 9-4 on the second half of back-to-backs against the spread since the start of last season. While Indy is struggling, they've lost 5 of their last 8. They are 23rd in net rating during that span, and they're just entirely too dependent on those 2 guys, right? Brogdon and Sabonis. They're a poor 3-point shooting team, and Memphis is 6th in 2-point defense. I think they've even been a little bit better without Jonas Valanciunas in terms of spacing offensively and defensively. So I definitely like the balance that they've shown, having 9 guys score in double figures last night in a blowout of the Spurs. I think they might win this game outright, and I would look at the money line there.
I love it. It's classic. There was a great article on the lines actually about how bad the Vegas has been at setting some lines this year, how off they've actually been in a couple places. And I think this is one of those places where you see public perception around what the Grizzlies have been without Ja this year, when they were just this slow, bullish team with Valanciunas really clogging up the middle. When really they're a young team with guys like Ja, and when Jaren Jackson comes back, that they can run the floor with big players that have length and speed. And that's what they're capable of, and that's what they're showing now. Indiana, I hate that they're this bad. I really thought they were going to show us something this year, but I'm completely with that pick. It really makes no sense to me either. Another one that I was really liking when it opened was Utah and Detroit. That started at 9.5 in Utah's favor at home against the really bad Pistons. Aside from the numbers that show how good Utah is and how bad Detroit is, really, it's also about the matchup in Utah playing at home. 10-1 against the spread in their last 11 games against a team with a losing record as well. And I think you see the Jazz beat up on bad teams, especially at home. And their 8-game winning streak at home, they're beating teams by an average of 15 points, and there's some good opponents in that span as well. And then Detroit just doesn't play well on the road, 1-8. 3-5-1 against the spread on the road this year. They don't play well against Utah in general. One thing to watch out for in that Detroit game is that 7 of the 9 overs have hit on the road for that team. Apparently, they put points up on the road in the second half after they're already getting blown out. So you might look to live bet that at the half if you can get a pretty decent number for that second half score. You might look at the over there, especially if the game's already over and it's just teams trading baskets.
Yeah, one thing I like about that is Utah getting smashed on Sunday, right? So I think they resume their focus with that one. Speaking of a recent loss, we have the Brooklyn Nets coming off their kind of late collapse against the Wizards with another insane total, nearly 300 points in that game. So we have this. These are the top 1 and 2 offensive teams in the last 10 games. Brooklyn has gone over in 10 of their last 11 by a healthy margin, 28 points per game in those contests. So, Josh, why on earth am I going against the grain and taking the under? It's because that's what we do, right? We try to predict trends, not follow them. In the one game that the Nets went under, it was following Bam Adebayo's 41-point outburst when there was talk of the Nets literally can't stop anybody. They came out with a renewed defensive effort. Kyrie Irving, of all people, set the tone, and that game went way under. Since then, they lost focus a little bit. They actually haven't had their big three play in a game together. I think they all play tonight. I think the Clippers have their big three back, of course, and I think they match up well. Pat Beverly on Irving, George on Harden, and Kawhi on KD, with Ibaka holding down the middle. And I think the the Clippers, of course, have to feel like they can win this game defensively. You're not going to outrun and gun the Nets. The Clippers, despite their recent outburst in offense, they really haven't played a good full strength team since the first week of the season. They're still 29th in pace. I think they will slow it down against the Nets and be a bit more methodical. And they actually have a 103 defensive rating in their last 7, and they've gone under in 4 of their last 7. They're averaging 221 points per game on the season, which is high, but it's not 242. I mean, that's just a ridiculous total. I'm willing to go out on a limb and take the under. Anyone who wants the over, please don't at me when I'm wrong.
In heaven's name, what are we doing, Nate? This is a good moment in time. I'll just pause us to say this is the great prop that we want to put up for today's gift card, rather. Give us the total in the comments after you've liked and subscribed to this video. And if you put the correct total score of that Nets Clippers game, we'll go ahead and get that gift card out to the winner with the exact score in the comments, as we said. Nate's going under. I'm really interested to see what totals you guys are putting in there. I myself, I don't know if I want to touch that total. It seems crazy. I do like the under more than the over. If nothing else, obviously it's a crazy number, but also, as you mentioned, the Clippers, when they're on their game, they're playing great defense as well as the good offense we know they're capable of playing. One thing I might consider is a Harden prop of 9.5 assists. If you do have Beverly draped all over him, look for him to continue to actually get in the lane and facilitate. There's only been one game since he joined the Nets that he has not had double-digit assists. And in his last 6 against the Clippers, he's just playing incredible, averaging about 32 and 9 assists in all 6 of those contests. So I'm scared of that total, but I do like Harden's props there. So one more quick hit is the other.
And I will say I like the Nets. I like the Nets -1 aside from the total. If you are scared, yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a toss-up. I'm going to continue to stay away from the Nets for now. But another game that's going to be insanely offensive minded rather, is that Portland-Washington game. We know Portland can't play a lick of defense. They just gave up, I believe it was more than 130 to those Milwaukee Bucks, who, I mean, nothing to sneeze at there. The Bucks are obviously the best offensive team in the league right now, but consider that Washington also doesn't like to play defense. Now that Washington does have its full strength with Russ and everybody back, you can consider their offense, as I don't know, threatening as you want. But the over there at still 241.5, I would like that over more than the Brooklyn Clippers one.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that's a great place to start with our DFS outlook tonight. The Blazers are on a back-to-back, but they were blown out, so they have their guys rested. I think you can come back with Dame Lillard and kind of rotate combinations of Beal or Westbrook and get guys like Mo Wagner for some value from the Wizards side. Gary Trent, still a good play on the Blazers side. Looking at the Raptors, if OG Anunoby is officially out, if Norman Powell's active, he should see a pretty good uptick. If not, I think you drop down to a punt play in Terrence Davis. I think you can roll with Pascal Siakam regardless. He's been seeing heavy usage. And then the Grizzlies have really 3 great plays at their price point. DeAnthony Melton has been lighting it up. Gorgie Dang has been filling in for Valanciunas. And then our boy Slow-Mo, Kyle Anderson. Just a rock solid cash game play. Nothing to see here. Just doing his slow thing.
Yep, embodying what everyone thinks of that team. That's all we have for today, Nate. Good show. As we mentioned, whoever is able to like and subscribe to this video and put in the comments the exact total of that Nets and Clippers game tonight will win a gift card. So go ahead and do that for us. We'll be back tomorrow after another fun NBA slate tonight. Happy betting, y'all.